Hey, what's up? It's Matt here with a big, profound, simple concept that is this idea of the language of selling. The language of selling. Think about it. There's a language of love, a language of hatred, a language of disrespect, a language of respect, a language of appreciation, a language of non-appreciation, a language of affection, a language of courtship, a language of relationship, a language of friendship. There is a language of selling. See, all those things, they have a different way of saying something. They have a different vibe to them. They have different words they use. They have different flows and paths they take. Paths. I have a bit of an underbite. So, S's. They drag out. Paths. Different paths they take. I'm getting annoyed by the word paths. I'm challenging to say. Anyways, underbite. But there's a language to it, you know? And just like French or English or Chinese or Japanese or Swahili or whatever, there's sounds, there's meanings, there's different language. And just like in selling, it is its own language. Now, it doesn't matter what language you speak, English, French, German, whatever, but this language, this flow of words, this description, this flow of a conversation, right? That's the language of selling. Now, and there's different kind of uses of the language depending on what medium you choose. If you choose written, well, there's a certain style to that if you're using the language of selling. If you're talking with someone, there's something else because it's actually more of a dialogue, you know? So, but there's a flow and an ebb and a language of that. But there's a language to selling. And once you understand that, what's so powerful is you can just ask yourself, how could I be selling this better? Which means communicating the value of this to this person more. How can I communicate the value of what I'm offering this person, and so that they can see the benefit in their life? That's the language of selling, and that's the flow, the point it takes. How can I communicate the value of what I'm offering to this person better? And by value, what we mean is what's valuable to them. So in a dialogue, or in written too, you gotta know this piece of information no matter what. You have to know what they want. You have to know what they want. You have to know what they've tried before. You have to know what they want. You have to know what they've tried before. There's words for those. Those are pretty much objections. But it's also a discovery of their past, which is really to discover what their problems have been and how you can provide a solution. How whatever your product or service provides a solution. Now, don't just make your thing fit. You still have to have a bit of a fiduciary, I believe that's just a universal word for being in the best interest of the client. Not trying to talk them into using yours because you just want the money, right? We all pick up on when someone is doing that to us. It's a feeling. You know what I mean. So maybe you have tried to communicate that way, though, in the past, trying to make your thing fit them, or just trying to get the money. I've done it. I'm sure you've done it. You know how it feels when it's done to you. How do you think it feels to them when you do it? And what about when those people get you to take it and you realize, they really just feed me a load of crap? You realize someone sells it to you and you use it a few days down the road and you're like, they totally way BS'd me on this. Well, how do you think those people feel if you do it to them? It's not good for business. Because any client you have, anyone you sell to, they should be buying from you on a somewhat frequent basis, no matter what business you're in. No matter what business you're in, there are always more things for them to buy from you, more ways for you to serve them in their life. So they need to trust you, and you need to earn that trust. And this positioning, this mentality, this mindset has to come through from the very jump, no matter what you're writing or talking about. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I have more content at reignmaking.com, REIGN making.com, reignmaking.com. Go check it out. I'm going to continue on this video though. By the way, there should be a link. If you're on Facebook, there should be a link above the video. If you're on YouTube, there's a link in the description, reignmaking.com. That's my plug. But that's the language of selling. What do they want? What problems are they having? And helping them see how your product, as long as it does, how your product or service will take care of their problems and provide them a solution and give them what they want. That's the language of selling. Too often, I'm guilty of it. I mean, sometimes it's a hard habit to break, but you get so focused on the money that you just can't think straight, you know? Whereas if there were no money or something you were trying to get, you would be talking differently. You would have less dragging on it. It's like you're trying to drag someone where you want them to go, you know? Like you don't walk together. You just try to drag them. Again, I'm guilty of it too. But this is what I'm communicating with you here. This is maybe a communication of education. Maybe. A language of communication. Communication of what? Language of communication, language of education, language of sharing. And I really wanted to share this with you because it's very powerful. Very powerful to understand this, because it gets rid of so much confusion, and just kind of gets the dust settled, moves the fog out of the way, and you can just see where you're going. You can see the path. I go saying path again, but there's no S on the end. Paths. I have to like bite my tongue to say that. Language of selling. I mean, it doesn't matter what business you're in. You can communicate the value and benefit of what you're offering does for someone, communicating that to them. You can always do that better. And the most common, compass for that is to just ask them, what do they want? What are your problems? How would you really like it to be? What would blow your mind? By getting constant feedback from them, you can serve them more and more and more. And the satisfaction and fulfillment from that is great. And you don't need to worry about the money, because people pay you a lot. People pay a lot for people that actually give them value, right? They really do, because they're rare. They're rare. And so be rare. Be rare. Be a mind blower. And that's the continued language of selling and relationship. Really, it's all about relationships. If you're going to have this type of relationship with somebody where you provide them something for money and they provide you money, and you serve them in their life in exchange for that money, that you don't do that with everybody. You don't have that agreement with most people. So it's a relationship. It's a special relationship. And you need to know the language of that relationship. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I hope so. This is powerful. Think about it. Watch this again. I guarantee if you listen to this video again, or listen to this wherever you're hearing it, maybe it's podcast, but wherever you're hearing this, listen to it again, because I guarantee when you go through it again, just let it play, and you'll hear me say something that you would have swore you didn't hear the first time. And it'll just click that much more, make that much more sense, because when you understand this, you're rare, and you can sell a whole heck of a lot of stuff, because you can communicate the value of what you're offering to somebody in terms of what they value. I don't know if the video paused or not. A low battery thing came up on me. But communicate the value your thing or service provides them in their life based on what they most want and what they find valuable, not on what you think they should find valuable. Because we all find stuff valuable, it's irrational. I mean, our value system in our mind, it's made up of emotion. Because if you don't have any emotion attached to something, everything's just the same. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? So, emotion. That's where people value things. You got to figure out what their emotions are towards something. And the biggest pain areas they have are where they want to be helped most first. Just like you and me. I'm not looking for someone to take care of something that doesn't really matter much to me. I'm much more interested in them taking care of something I care a lot more about. Helping me with something that takes on a lot more of my mind and drags me down. And I would feel so much better to have it taken care of. Yeah. The language of selling, think about that. Rainmaking.com, REIGN making.com, rainmaking.com. Probably won't have a jingle. More content on there. I'll be posting more frequently. Also on my Facebook and my Facebook page, you can watch more content, and my YouTube page too. Although I don't know what name it is at the moment. So yeah, get back to you. All right. Language of selling. Just think about that. Talk to you later.